Hi there. Welcome to Project 6, Option 4, where you'll produce a video, where you clearly identify yourself. So you say, Hi, my name is such and such. And here we are with what you need to do. So we're now going to be dealing with microcontrollers, and you're going to be using assembly language. And this is a fairly simple one. A microcontroller will be counting. You're going to experiment with counting using 7-segment displays. You know how numbers are made up on old-fashioned calculators with lines, and there's 7 segments, and you're like, "Ooh, where's the 7 segments?" Okay, so you got 1, 2, 3, right? Those are the bars like this, and then you have two and two more here. That's another four, so that's 7 altogether. If you were to turn on all 7 segments, it would look like an 8. All right. So that's these. There's these bars that I feel like I'm doing the Vogue dance here. Anyway, so you basically have these 7 segments. Now, what I want you to do is make this counter count from 0 to 9, or make it count from 9 to 0, or make it count from 0 to 10, because there's two 7-segment displays, or make it count from 10 to 0. Do your best, explain what you're doing. Remember, do not record your first attempt. Make it work, rehearse, 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 and then record it. Now let's take an actual look at what we're dealing with here. Oh my. All right. What have we got going on over here? So over here we have the assembler, right? The assembly language. Notice you have like quick little codes here, like go to and move UF, and you've got hexadecimal here and binary over here, and you've got the main part of the program. Oh, my spell check's popping up. Up here, you've got assemble, which would take the code and turn it into something that's runnable. I'm going to skip over step for a moment. Run would actually run it, and you'll see the output right over here. You'll also see how memory is being addressed over here and here, and you can actually make it run slower or faster. You can reset it. All right. And you can kind of ignore this line of things over here. Right now, we are dealing with the 7 segment. In the other options, you'll be dealing with stepper motor and traffic. Ooh, did I even mention traffic? I'm not even sure. Okay, and there's also motor. There's a DC motor, and there's the stepper motor, and there's the LED matrix. My goodness, if I didn't mention traffic, that might be another option. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. All right, let's see what happens with this guy here. Assemble. Cool. All right. So what you're doing is you've basically loaded your program into the memory. All right. This is really cool. And then you click run, and you'll see it going through here. And maybe if that's too fast for you, you can slow it down. And now you can see the programmable controller here. Ah, there we go. Let's just stop that right there. Here are your 7 segments. Here they are all off. See, 1, 2, 3 horizontal ones, and 2 pairs of 2 vertical ones. And if they were all on, it would show the number 8, as it is in this situation. As you can see, the different pins are turning on the different segments, and the different commands are actually triggering that to happen. So let's go step by step, 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 step. Watch how it's going line by step through the code. Step, step. Ah, we just made it a 9. We went from 8 to 9. Well, that's not what we want. All right, let's just keep going. Step, 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 step. What on earth is that? That looks like a lowercase a. Remember how when you were kids, you take a calculator and turn it upside down, and you could spell things like shell oil using like the number 5 and the 3 and 7, and you probably, if you haven't done that, you're probably grabbing a calculator now and putting it upside down and trying to spell shell oil. But anyway, that's what we used to do when we were kids. Okay, because our calculators had 7-segment displays. All right, a lot of calculators now, they're all like dot matrix in the sense of, LEDs or LCDs with lots of little points. And don't worry, that's actually coming up in an LED matrix option if you want to play with that one. Step, 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 step. I wonder what the next character is going to be. A 3. Okay. Step, 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 step. No idea what that is. That's an upside down uppercase A. So your job, like I said before, is to make this count from 0 to 9, or from 9 to 0, or from 0 to 10, or from 10 to 0. Rehearse it, make the video, demonstrate what's happening, explain what you're doing here in the code. You can copy and paste and add more code here. How do you make it show a 10? Well, you'd have to turn on these segments right over here, these two that I'm pointing to, and of course, these 6 segments to create the 0. The 7th segment in the center, you're not going to turn that on. You'll notice how these wires connect to latches. Latches is something that we've covered in previous electronics units, and you'll notice that these pins are the outputs. You'll see this little symbol right over here. I wonder if I can make this bigger. Way too big. That's ground. There's positive, and there's the different ports and port Bs. So as you can see here, you're moving things out through port B, and it is actually lighting up, and one of these is off. Oh, does that mean that output port B2 is this little guy right over here? So maybe what you should do is, when you're dealing with these steps, steppity, 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 steppity. Come on, give me something else. Steppities. Ah, okay, look at that. Now 0 and 2 are off. So now I know that that was 2 and this is 0. So if you start playing with this step by step, you'll start to know which ones are which pins controlling. So here we go. What if I was to make it actually run and made it go faster? If you run through this, you'll start to decode in your mind which pins control which segments. You're probably going to have to write this down on a piece of paper. And please include that in your video. Give me a tour and say, here is the segment that is controlled by pin 2, and then work your way all the way around and number them all and tell me what's going on. And then show me the demonstration of all the code and explain your code that shows, counting from 0 to 9, or from 9 to 0, or 10 to 0, or from 0 to 10. Just do one of those, okay? But make sure it's a polished presentation starting with, hi, my name is so-and-so, and then go ahead and do that. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. I can't wait to see these things. These are going to be amazing.